want to welcome you back to Black Site Tonight. I want to talk to you about a new video emergence of Ahmaud Arbery entering a construction site or a renovation site of a home right before he was killed on the streets of Brunswick, Georgia. Ahmaud Arbery entered a construction site, a house. He walked around. It was caught on video camera, which was put in probably by the owner. But several times it seems like they caught Ahmaud Arbery entering the house, but he did not take anything out of the renovated house or construction site. He just walked around and looked. He was finally confronted by someone across the street who saw him walk in. He started running down the street. Essentially, he was killed later on. But that doesn't indict Ahmaud Arbery of anything. He did not take anything from the property. And if any man knows, when you see some construction going on, possibly in your neighborhood, or you're walking down the street, what do we normally do? We stop, we look, we want to see what kind of construction is basically going on. We might even go there and talk to the people who are remodeling the house or who are fixing up the house, if it's anything like gutters or anything, to see what they're doing. Or probably you want to talk to them, maybe you want to get in contact with them, or basically come by and, hey, I need some work done. That's something men constantly do. I don't know about other men, but that's how I am. When I see something going on construction-wise in the neighborhood, I may not go inside of a house or something, which Ahmaud Arbery did. He was probably wanting to look and see how the construction was done. But he did not take anything. By him not taking anything and just looking around, there was no need for him to be assassinated on the streets of Georgia. Now, many of people who probably would say he should not have been on the property at all, which you basically could say, which is right. But once the video camera showed him walk out with nothing, he had nothing in his hands, the only thing that needed to be done is for someone to call the police and let the police resolve the issue of trespassing or anything they would like to charge Mr. Arbery of. But he did not deserve to be killed the way he was on that street in Brunswick, Georgia. Sometimes we have to let the police take control of a situation and not put it in the hands of a regular citizen, because you are not trained for a situation like this. They would have pulled you over, they would have talked to him, they may have just wrote him out a ticket. They may not have even arrested him. If he would have just said, I was just seeing how the construction site looked, I wanted to see how the house looked from the inside, maybe I would like to have that same person who was doing the renovation or construction to come work on my house. That could have been his excuse. We'll never know because he's dead. But we have to understand that this situation was caused by these men confronting Ahmaud Arbery, Travis Michael, and his son, the McMichaels. And if they wouldn't have did it, if they could have waited a couple of more minutes, since they probably were in contact with the police, this thing would have never happened, and it shouldn't have happened. But does this video change anything? Does this video shady the case? I don't think so in my heart, because I feel as though if he didn't take anything, he didn't have anything in his hands, he walked out the house, he'd been there several times. I don't know if that's the same person in the other videos I have seen, but the GBI and also the FBI looked into this situation, and basically they said, hey, they basically exonerated from the situation because he stole nothing. He took nothing. He just walked around casually. He didn't pick up anything. He was looking at how basically the construction of the house. That's all he could do. Let me tell you something. You can have a construction of a house going on by an organization. You know, people who go around these different organizations come in the inner city, out of the inner city, and they build houses. And you can walk right up into the house and look around, not take anything, and he did not take anything. So You can't say he stole anything because they got videotape of this whole situation. So he did not deserve to be killed or executed on the streets of Brunswick, Georgia. Now, I know there are a lot of people saying, if you come on my land and you don't have the right to be on my land, you can get that work. But the proprietors of that land was not the people who chased him down or that property. It was the McMichaels, who basically had nothing to do with the situation. And they should be held accountable for their actions. You cannot have a posse in a neighborhood going around killing random people because they walked into a renovated house. It's not like they put a door on it or anything. Yes, they had a camera to see if anybody stole anything. He did not do it. And if he was to take anything off the property, you would have seen it clear as day because it's all on camera. But we have to be careful that you are not assassinated or killed on the streets of America. This is why we have laws. He did not confront anybody. He did not harm anybody. He did not steal anything from the property. The only thing you could charge him with is trespassing. And that's a misdemeanor violation that basically possibly has a fine. That is not equivalent to him dying on the streets of Brunswick, Georgia. And the thing about it, that the GBI, FBI, and other organizations had this information before they charged the McMichaels. And when they looked at this, they said, wait a minute. He only walked through the house. He didn't take anything. He didn't do anything wrong. And I'm telling you, there's thousands of men in America who have done the same thing, who have walked up to a construction site house, who have walked up to a renovation house, looked up, looked inside, looked up and down, probably did it with a friend or two who was walking down the street, and none of them ended up dead like Ahmaud Arbery. And we can't make the equivalence to him committing a crime because, like I said, the only crime he committed was trespassing. His life did not deserve to be taken for this. This is nothing. And I don't want to hear anybody who's protecting or supporting the McMichaels who could say that's an equivalent right there. That man should have never got out of his truck. He should not have confronted. The only thing he could have did that was right was follow him until the police got there. Other than that, everything else goes down to manslaughter, murder, second degree murder, or murder. They charged him with murder. And that's what it was. Because you are only supposed to use a weapon in any circumstances if someone was doing harm to you or eventually was going to do harm to you. Ahmaud Arbery was just running down the street. You were in the truck. Hunting him down after he went into a house. That doesn't make any sense. You can't say that you were protecting yourself or the community because he did nothing wrong. And we're going to have to stand up and say, you just cannot take black male's life at a whim. I want to thank you for listening to Black Site. I hope you subscribe to this channel, smash that like button, and share this video.